My brother was killed in 86. I remember the first rodeo I went to after Chad got killed, and the pickup man come in there, and I didn't even realize it. I stepped down, and I was bawling. There was so much emotion in me that never had got out. I remember stepping down, and it was just pouring out of me.
This is Beyond the Chutes, as presented by Parasite System. I'm your host, Doug Simcox. In this episode, we sit down with Phil Broome. We talk about wrestling. We talk about bareback riding. We talk about some good decisions and some hard ones. We talk about losing his brother, about pride, about not always being coachable, and about what it takes to keep moving forward anyway. It's honest, it's reflective, and it's Phil. So today we got a very, very special guest. Last night he and Miss Tina, they got married right here at the Cove. What a beautiful, beautiful ceremony. So here he is, Mr. Phil Broome. Welcome to Beyond the Chutes.
Hello, hello. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Good to have you here. We had two of your traveling partners on here on a previous show, Adam Wood, of course, and Kevin Ellis.
Yeah.
And they was your crew?
We were tight for a long time.
That was your bunch?
I would like to know what they said.
Yeah. Well, you're going to have to wait. I'll probably edit most of it out just to, because I don't want to hurt your feelings.
Well, there's 100 in it for you.
Okay.
It sounds right.
Okay. Okay. And so we love on this. It's Beyond the Chutes. So let's go way, way back. Go back to earliest memories, Phil. Tell us where you was born, raised, all that sort of thing.
I grew up right here in Armurchie, Georgia, not far away from where we're at now. There's been a good many bareback riders pop up from our little area. But going way back, I was a kid and watching Larry Zonka in 1972 and wanting to be a football player and weighed 70 pounds when I was 12 years old or whatever.
Yeah.
And really just loved every kind of sport there was. I wasn't very good at baseball, but I did love wrestling, and I know our partner here is.
We are big wrestling fans. He was a big wrestler up in upstate New York.
Right.
So talk a little bit. When did you get involved in wrestling? How old?
Well,
first time on the map.
Unfortunately, it really started in high school. We didn't have a little guys program so much around here, but I got started in the 9th grade, and one of the biggest influences with me on with regards to the wrestling was the individualism of it. I loved track. At one point, I was a miler.
Oh, wow.
So I eventually, I think 14, 15 years old, run a mile in about 5 minutes or something like that.
Nice,
so
nice.
that's okay for the time.
Yeah.
But I still it wasn't really aggressive enough, the track. It was endurance, and it was hard.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed playing football.
What position?
I played every play of the game.
So offense and defense.
Offense and defense. I played. Okay. I was a running back, but one of my best friends was Barry Nix. He turned out to be the star running back, but I got to block for him, so he's up here.
Okay.
And I'm this little guy in front of him that's blocking the linebacker.
I see.
We had a pretty tough defense, and I played defensive halfback.
Halfback. So linebacker?
It's like a outside linebacker that plays safety too.
Oh, okay.
You know, that
So
outside.
what was you weighing at this point? And this is like your freshman year?
Yeah, well, we had JV football, and I played it in the 9th. But as I started as a sophomore, which we were a small school.
Yeah. Like how many?
120 graduating class.
Okay.
Class A, they called it at the time. Our defense was aggressive. We had 4 linebackers. The way our coaches set up, we weren't big, but we were slow. So, not necessarily me as an individual, but the whole team. So he actually told the paper that, our coach did. And I think he did it for a motivational thing.
Yeah.
We're small but slow. So our senior year, we were managed to wind up winning like 7 of our 10 games, which for Armurchie, Georgia, that was outstanding year. Yeah. We were happy with it.
Yeah.
But, the football thing, I just wasn't big enough guy. But had fun, loved football. This is before no hitting with the head, and I just come in there.
Okay. Student of the sport? I mean,
really,
technically?
Yeah. They started just wanting me to play quarterback. But we had a pretty good quarterback. you're supposed to follow every coach's plans, but they wanted me to play quarterback. In my mind, I'm going to be second string quarterback because we got one that's already competing well. And B, I'm going to have to quit playing specialty teams. They're not going to let the quarterback play defense.
Right. Right.
So that I wanted to play every play.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be out there the whole time. And I did. So that's the defense halfback and the running back, and then any special teams. Love to catch punts. My buddy that I talked about earlier, that was our main running back, he kept dodging the ball. When the punt would come down and the guys was eating you up, he loved to jump over and let that thing go. he loved to catch kickoffs and run a.
I see.
But the punts, they
close.
said, look, you got to catch them. We didn't have a big team. If you don't catch them, who's going to catch them? He said, Broome will catch them. So I just loved to get the ball. It was much opportunity to touch the leather. So I said, yeah. So I got to run a couple.
Didn't mind getting hit.
Didn't mind getting hit a bit. I took pride in never calling a fair catch.
Really?
I never called a fair catch.
Really?
I got the tar.
They're on top of you.
I got the tar knocked out of me.
Yeah.
But I never called a fair catch.
Never could they ever knock you out?
It was a principle. No.
Concussions, nothing like that.
I got hit in the chin one time when I was looking up for the ball, and my teeth didn't touch for about a week. If you get hit hard enough in the jaw, your teeth might not touch the next day. And then kind of
like dislocated your jaw, kind of.
No, I'm just gonna say a little swelling, maybe. They wouldn't touch.
And that didn't knock. You had a mouth guard in.
No, I had to wear a mouthpiece.
But didn't knock you out.
Let me tell you.
Well, so football.
Football was great.
So football's over. It's the fall. Do you go wrestling? Do you go play basketball? Was that a decision?
Wrestling.
Was that ever a decision?
No, not after the 9th grade. We had a great coach who come in, and here's the thing I was going to say about the difference between wrestling and football. Football is definitely a team sport, and even though you get so many tackles, so many yards, whatever. Well, wrestling come along, and we had a new coach. That come in our merchie and said, we're not going to be anybody's can to kick. And for some reason, I love that.
Yeah.
Wrestling coaches, and I'm sure y'all know, they'll have all these fancy names for the training at the end of practice when you're doing the calisthenics, burning. What do you call it? Do you ever have a name? Or they call it some.
Yeah, going back, and it was a speed drill type thing.
Right.
We did like 3 things at the end: spinning and.
Right. And they usually have some kind of cool name, right? Like death drills or some endurance thing. Our coach said, "This is your opportunity period." And I'm a thinker. I thought about that. I thought, how cool is that? He said, I'm going to give you the opportunity to be champions. We were 9th graders. We never won nothing. We beat up. He said, I'm going to give you the opportunity to be champions. And this is our opportunity period. So the harder you work, I'm going to give you the opportunity to do it as much as you want.
Yeah.
But it's on you.
Yeah.
I'm not going to jump up and scream and say, you didn't do it right. We're doing it 15 more minutes. No, you got an opportunity. We're going to leave here at 6 o'clock. And you have the opportunity between our start and finish to be as good as you want to be.
Wow.
And that was such a thing to me. That was wrestling for me. And, buddy, we busted it.
Yeah.
We were wide open.
Yeah.
We did it.
Yeah.
We got where we were 75 push-ups, 75 sit-ups, 75 squat thrust, which is kind of a burpee or whatever we call it now.
Yeah.
And then climb the rope 5 times to the top of the gym. And that was our little opportunity period. And there were other things involved. He'd mix it up and he'd do things. But I'm just saying, Coach John Wilson give us the opportunity to be champions. And by 81, we won state. We had 6 state champions on our team.
So what year?
1981. My senior
Your
year.
senior year.
Senior year.
You, as a team.
So it was the 1981 Armurchie Indians wrestling team. We were state champs. It was great. We thought it made us special.
That is pretty special. That's pretty
we
big
had
deal.
6 state champions, and we had 2 guys that won second, and then a third or fourth.
I was going to say, how many in all the weights?
We had 12 weight classes at the time.
And 50% state champions off that one team.
Off that team.
Holy cow.
It was a pretty good little team.
My goodness,
You know,
I guess.
for this.
And it all wrestled together and all come up together
Yeah,
and all took that opportunity to be
They
champions.
Had that opportunity.
So that mindset, and that's just so interesting. Usually it's, you got to do it, the coach is
He
saying.
didn't push us. Hey, if our punishment was, if we didn't do well enough, we went home.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Talk about a punishment. Your punishment ain't going to make you do 20 more.
Yeah.
Punishment is, if you're not going to do it, we're going to walk out of here. I got to go home. I'll go home to my wife and make supper. That was his attitude.
Oh, my.
And he was great, coach. So here's your opportunity.
Yeah.
You can take it or you can pass on it.
Isn't that something? All on you.
Yeah.
All on you.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was different. It was different than anything I'd ever done.
So we love, did you ever tell him about the 3 R's, Sam?
No, go ahead, Doug.
Yeah. So we love mindset, right? We love rodeo mindset. And anytime we talk about it, we talk about the 3 R's. It's rodeo, racing, and wrestling.
Wrestling.
Wrestling, sorry.
Yeah, it's wrestling.
But you spell it with an R down
you get
here.
north of Tennessee, it might be wrestling. Tina, my new bride there, her son wrestled. We're a wrestling family. My son runs a jiu-jitsu gym and was a wrestler in high school.
Okay.
He's really a better wrestling coach, than he is a wrestler. 'Cause he's a great coach. He coaches kids.
Yeah.
And he does the jiu-jitsu. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. He's been doing it for 10 years now. He's 30 years old. So he's running his own gym right here in Rome. Emperor City Grappling.
Yeah.
Plug.
So that, absolutely. Absolutely.
But her son wrestled.
Okay.
He's about 40 now, so he wrestled when he come through. Our grandsons, her grandsons, which are our grandsons now, they wrestle.
Yeah.
They're 7 and 12.
Oh, wow.
So
Oh, wow.
we just love it.
Wow.
That's our thing. My little brother, I lost a brother at 19.
Oh.
I was 4 years older than him. He was a state champion 4 years behind me in 85.
Oh, wow.
And he was he was a good wrestler.
Wow.
He was a good wrestler.
Wow. And that wrestling mindset, how would you describe that?
I mean, it's just never quit. It's just never yield, never quit. And PJ's funny, my son, I'll use him, for example. In the jiu-jitsu, I compare it like this for us old wrestlers. Wrestling is like checkers with muscles. And jiu-jitsu is like chess
Okay. Yeah.
with not quite as much muscles, because a girl can whip you
Really?
with jiu-jitsu.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. Right?
Yeah.
So it's just that kind of a difference. But to go back to wrestling and comparing to the rodeo mindset, I mean, to me, it's just never say die.
Yeah.
You're just wide open,
Yeah.
as hard as you can go, but you have to be controlled, and you got to have the technique. You got to drill.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to drill.
Yeah.
And we would drill those moves and drill them 3 times each side, 3 times the other side, swap partners, 3 times this side, 3 times the other side. Did you ever hear that before?
Well, we didn't know a lot of moves,
Right.
but ones we did, you knew we were going to do them, and we still could do them
That's right.
because we drilled.
And John Wilson was big on that fireman's carry because he loved for us to get the first takedown. He felt like if we got the first takedown, we were going to win.
Yeah.
And so 5-point move. At 5-point move, you take him down and put him straight on his back.
Yep. Near fall.
Near fall.
Yeah.
Or maybe pin him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my scores at my wrestling matches would be 6-2,
Oh, wow.
4-3, 8-7. I never teched anybody.
Oh, really?
The 15 points over, you
Yeah.
know, where you just take them. If I could do that, I could pin him.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
That's what we were working. I'm not saying it's the best. I'm
Yeah.
not saying anything. That's just us.
Yeah.
The way we handled it. We were head levers and driving that head in there until they just couldn't stand it, and then try to turn them over.
Yeah.
And the fireman's carry would put them
Yeah.
right on their back.
Yeah.
You know,
What weight?
old simple stuff. 130, 132.
So you was a grappler.
Yeah.
You was on the mat. You was a grappler.
We weren't doing Greco or the flows. We were shooting single legs. We were doing
And you're wrestling 3 periods every match.
every time. Well,
Every
unless
time.
I could pin.
Unless you could
like
pin
I
'em,
say,
turn
if
'em
I-
and pin 'em.
If I could throw that fireman's and put them on their back, I was pretty good at never letting them off. I never run off with points. I never got points run off on me. I remember one time I wrestled this guy that was way over my head. I wrestled a bunch of people who were way over my head. You're talking about knowing moves. We had guys from local schools in next county over or something, and A lot of them had some pretty good coaches, and they knew stuff like the Granby roll and stuff. So I'm wrestling this guy, and he was like a 2 or 3 time state champion, and I was there wrestling him. I didn't even know what he was. I was one of them guys that didn't care, didn't really want to know how great he was.
Yeah.
I just wanted to beat him. And so we were wrestling, and he did something. He got his hips out, which I always was on the hips. But we would ride those hips and be in control the whole time. That's why there never was a lot of points. All right? So he got his hips out. He did some kind of thing. I just did what I always did and followed the hips and walked around and almost stuck him. But then he got up, and I walked off the mat. He beat me. I was mad. I was always mad if I got beat. And so he beat me, and I walk off the mat mad, not pitching, fit, and throwing headgear. We didn't allow all that. But, just inside.
You bet.
PO'd.
You bet.
So I'm walking up, and these kids from other schools run up to me, and they go, "How did you stop the Granby roll? How did you stop the Granby roll?" I said, "What Granby roll?" I didn't know what he did. He just got his hips out, and he tried to roll, and I followed him, and I about stuck him.
Oh, wow.
But it was basics.
Because you didn't know,
it was
probably.
technique. I didn't know what the Granby roll was.
Yeah.
Right?
So you're not defending.
I wasn't scared of it. I didn't know how to defend it. I just followed his hips. You see what I'm saying? So it was being dumb and then working out. So technique is just like bareback riding. If you're lifting, if you're setting your feet, if you're lifting on it, getting your hips under there and lifting and staying square, it's going to work out. You don't have to know how to stop the Granby roll.
Right. So as a senior, you win state championship.
Right.
Had you qualified to the states before?
I won a 4th as a freshman. And the sophomore year, I went in there and didn't have my head right. And this is a good lesson. Didn't have my head right.
Yeah.
Had just as much
What's
ability.
that mean?
Wasn't prepared for the competition.
Mentally or physically?
Mentally. It was mentally. We were ready.
Okay.
He had us. He was going to give us that opportunity,
Okay.
remember? So we were busting it.
Yeah.
I just went in there. I don't know what I was thinking. You look back, and I've thought about it 1,000 times, and I should have placed all 4 years.
Yeah.
That sophomore year, I went in there thinking, well, I placed last year. I'm going to win it this time. I just went in there maybe a little overconfident. I don't even know if it was overconfidence because I'm not a overconfident type of guy. If anything, I'm always not confident, picky on myself, critical of myself. But I just got in there and just didn't bring it.
Yeah.
I didn't bring it. So I got beat from some pretty good wrestlers from Jefferson over around Athens. Some pretty good wrestlers beat me, and they went on. But I got put out that year, no battle. So the next year I come back with vengeance, but I tore up my knee. I tore some cartilage in my knee like 2 or 3 weeks. Same old thing as rodeo, and you're going to compete with injuries.
Yeah.
So 2 weeks before or 3 weeks, something before the state tournament, I'm wrestling a dual match, and I just stand up off the bench or out of the chairs, and my knee pops.
Really?
I said, "Coach, my knee won't straighten." He said, "What?" I said, "My knee won't straighten." It was a cartilage. It was a torn meniscus, and I didn't know.
Oh, my.
It wouldn't straighten out. He goes, "Well, can you go?" I said, "Well, yeah. I mean, my knee won't straighten out. I don't know why I couldn't go." He said, "Well, just do what you can. If it feels like you're hurt, tell me. Come off." So I did. I went and won the match, but it was not that competitive a match. But then the concern was, what are we going to do about state coming up?
Yeah.
Dang, so you got to try to. I was doing the old whirlpool. Do you remember the whirlpools? They were hot. They got that water in there hot as you could stand it.
Sure.
And you sat in that whirlpool and you come out pink, And anyway, so I did that for a week or two to get ready. And it would just go right back. It was a torque meniscus, and I finally went to the doctor with it.
Did they operate?
They were going to have to operate, but I went on and wrestled in state tournament like it was.
As a junior?
As a junior. And there was a pretty good kind of wrestler. He beat me in the finals.
So placed second in the state.
Placed second that year.
Okay.
And I remember my mom took a picture of us, and this kid was so happy. He had dropped like 30 pounds. We were 132, and he had lost a third of his weight or whatever to get down this weight class and taller than me. And he was really a good wrestler, and he had paid the price, right?
Yeah.
You know how wrestling was. I didn't ever drop a lot of weight. I just wrestled what I weighed. I might drop 6 pounds or something, but I didn't do all that weight dropping stuff. Our coach didn't believe in it. And this guy he had lost a whole lot. And all he could do is sitting there. I got a picture of my mom. I took it, and you could see how mad I am because my jaws are clenched. I'm sitting there just PO'd that I got beat. I mean, it really wasn't a bad match, and I should have been okay with it.
By just a few points?
By just he didn't pin me or nothing. He just beat me by points. And he's sitting here, and I remember to this day he was trying to be a friendly. He was happy. He won state. He was going to get ice cream. Hey, my mom's going to take me to get ice cream. You want to go with us? And I wanted to punch him. I mean, like, really wanted to punch him. And that's not a way to be.
Well,
he was so happy.
I don't want any ice cream.
I don't want any with you for sure. I don't even want ice cream with my girlfriend right now, but less you. Yeah. So it was kind of funny looking back on it. I feel bad about it. I should have been nicer to him. You know what I'm saying? He's just trying to win.
You can still look him up.
No.
Say, hey, let's go to ice cream.
That far.
So how'd the game change?
Right.
You're wrestling regular season, all of a sudden you're in the tournament play. How's the game change?
It was leading into state tournament. Yeah. I'm going to tell you, our coach was really good, and I think he did it on purpose. I think he did everything on purpose. But he was really good at getting us into a routine of practice, and we built like a pyramid. We were building every week. He was adding to, and we peaked out in February. Right?
Okay.
So he had us ready to peak out. So really, leading into the state tournament, we were just the same. We were just going through our same routine, just like your spur and boots are on this side of your rigging, your gloves in a bag on this side of the rigging, the rigging's in here, and this is here, and this here. And when you get there 5 minutes after the grand entry, you can unzip that thing and be dressed in 5 minutes and never think about where your stuff is in your bag.
Yeah.
You build on those routines.
So that routine, but mentally, more at stake. Finals.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah. But, and pressure that goes with it.
Yeah.
If you stick to your technique, you stick to your game plan, and you just never quit.
Okay.
Because
we're going to come back because you wrestled on some big stages,
right?
State championships,
right?
You're the only on that Saturday night, I'm guessing, in that Coliseum. You was the only match out on that mat at that time,
right?
In front of all those people with all that pressure, of championship on the line,
right?
And you did the same thing in rodeo, but I don't want to jump that far ahead just yet. So you finish up wrestling. Any opportunities to move on and go college wrestling?
Didn't have that opportunity. Pretty small school, and I thought there was real competitive at UTC right up here in Chattanooga. My mother, she was a teacher. She was not strict, but not lenient. And she expects you to do your best in everything you do.
Were you a good student?
Yeah.
Okay.
All A student.
Okay.
So that was expected.
Yeah.
Coming out of that, she thought, that's well and good. That's high school sports. You're getting a degree. So you need to decide what it is. I don't care what it is, but you're going to school. So.
And at this point, rodeo ain't on the agenda anywhere?
Well, I'll tell you this. At high school rodeo, I never got serious about it. Rodeo at all. I'd thought about it, and it looked appealing, exciting, but I wasn't raised around rodeo family or whatever. My mama loved horses. My dad was a Georgia Power lineman, John Wayne Tough, Georgia Power lineman.
Okay.
And I mean, you didn't weaken. That's just him.
Yeah.
Going into college, thinking about stuff like that, I always wished I might have pursued it, but I didn't. And she said, "You're going to college."
Yeah.
And the way I was able to go to college was to Berry College, which at that time not quite as a high, expensive, liberal college as it is now. I hate to be that way. It's just what it was.
Liberal arts.
It was a lot more. It was started by Martha Berry, who believed in mountain kids, and it was a lot of agriculture and a lot of different stuff. And so I was more attracted to that. My mom was able to do the paperwork and get involved and get me what we called a Berry Area Scholarship, which was for kids local that didn't really necessarily have the funds to go to Berry College to start with.
Okay.
They give them a little break, and it was kind of like going to a junior college. So I went there 2 years and worked in the forestry department. They have a 25,000-acre forest that belongs to Berry College.
Really?
Yes. And
And why forestry? What caught your attention
I had a really favorite teacher in biology in high school.
in high school?
Yeah. And but I didn't really want to do biology, but I did think there was a lot of loggers around Rome, Georgia. There's a paper mill that I work for now that buys a lot of timber, keeps the logging market going essentially in northwest Georgia and northeast Alabama. It just is simply the thing that keeps the industry going. Well, there's a lot of other industry built around that. At that time, I just thought it would be pretty cool to grow trees and be in the forest. I was a hunter. My dad, that's what he and I shared, big time hunting. Listen, when I was 14 years old, I about threw my arm out. My dad and mom separated and divorced. About threw my arm out throwing hickory nuts up in the air. And my daddy would shoot them out of there with a .22 pistol. I know you think I'm lying. He didn't hit them all, but he hit enough that you knew it wasn't an accident. And I would sit there and throw hickory nuts up about high as his ceiling or a little higher. And he would shoot them out of the air with a
Hickory
.22
nuts.
pistol. Hickory from a hickory tree.
50-cent piece size?
Yeah,
Yeah.
less than a golf ball.
Holy cow.
And he'd hit them in the air.
And what kind of hunting was you doing?
Anything. But deer hunting a lot. But squirrel, rabbit. He had beagles. We had coon hounds.
Oh,
we
you
had,
did?
Yeah,
Right,
growing
dogs.
up, we were into pretty much anything that.
Now, I got a question because I heard the other night. Is it coon season yet here?
Yeah, coon season is kind of. It comes in with most of the fall seasons. I'm not sure exactly the date that it comes in this year, but it's that normal bird season, quail, squirrel, small game season that it comes in right in around deer season.
Yeah, because I heard somebody out the other night doing it, and I didn't know if they were training a dog or if it was because our coon season.
I think it's a little
start.
early. I think it's a little early right now.
Ours doesn't start till November.
Bow season is coming in
October.
like next week. The dove season.
For deer.
Bow and arrow.
Yeah, for deer.
Primitive, yeah.
Yeah.
And then gun season comes in later.
Yeah.
But
And gun, shotgun down here, rifle down here, black powder?
rifle, all of the above.
Yeah,
all the above. Certain areas, they just allow shotguns or black powder, but most people deer hunt with a rifle. I've actually hunted with a pistol. Influences from my father, like a 44 Magnum or something.
Wow.
I like a 41 Magnum. It's really a good.
Yeah, there's enough hills here to stop a rifle shot.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And so it's a lot of hunters in this part of the country, but
So that's kind of what got you saying, hey, I'm going to go check
I think
this
I'm gonna
forestry
see about this
program.
forestry stuff. Yeah, because
Oh, okay.
just wanted to. And there, Georgia Craft at that point owned the mill in Rome, the paper mill. And as I went to school at Berry, I worked 2 years of student work program. Berry College is famous for their student work program, and just like Kevin Ellis you've talked to, he runs the horse barn at Berry College.
Yeah.
I guess he mentioned that, and he has students work for him, right? So I signed up to work in the forestry department when I was a student, and so I got that little taste of forestry right there, and I loved it. We did burning and tree planting, and not just harvesting. That really turned me on, and then I went to Georgia the second 2 years. So
you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
And those two places, at that time, I can't remember the name of the rule in college. Y'all guys may know it. When they said you got to spend a certain percentage on women's sports as you do men's.
Oh, Title IX or whatever?
Title IX.
Okay, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
They dropped wrestling at UGA
Oh, wow.
when that happened. Barry didn't have one to start with. Mm-hmm. They dropped it at UGA. And by that time, to be honest with you, like I could say, go back, the high school rodeo thing, you have the last half of the high school season starts right after school's out and goes till the middle of summer, right? And then the finals are in actually the middle. That's the only high school rodeo I did was during that period. After I finished track, running the mile and all that stuff, I thought I'll try this bareback riding. And really,
Now, wait, let me back up. In high school?
in high school.
So your senior year,
So I'm backing
junior
up.
year?
Yeah, senior year. I have senior year of high
That
school.
was the only
That was the
time.
only high school I did, just a few months. So I was really toying between high school rodeo or bareback riding, or maybe race a bike. My dad was into motorcycles.
Oh, wow.
So I thought, man, I might could race dirt track.
Yeah.
So I was like tossing that up. I was trying to want to try that because I'd had a dirt bike
So,
from the time I was growing
who
up.
introduced you to rodeo? How'd you find the high school rodeo stuff?
You want to know the truth? Barry Nix, the same guy I told you was our running back.
Yeah.
He got interested. I got interested. We went and bought a rigging together. Now, his hand, he's a larger fella. You probably saw him. He was here today.
Oh, he was? Okay.
Yeah. Good-sized fella. So his hand was way bigger than mine. This is really sounding like a hick, okay? I'm really starting to sound like a hick.
Well,
but
you do what you can do.
we
Yeah.
bought a $75 Blackwood half and half rigging.
Yeah.
And we bought 2 different gloves. I bought one, he bought one. And I glued leather on the back of my glove to soak up some of the space.
Yep.
And it wasn't going to hold on to me anyway. It was a half and half after all.
Yeah.
So we started high school rodeo like that, sharing a rigging. So they'd buck one of us first, usually him. And then I'd have to chase the rigging down at the D rigging, she'd put it on, and then they'd run me. And it was hilarious. But we did it, and we thought we were really, we were doing it, you know what I'm saying? And we got after it.
Any schools or anything?
Didn't go, didn't he? Joe Sims, who was here today,
Yeah.
his son Jack was
Yeah.
a great bareback rider.
Okay.
Went to school. John Luthi coached him at Fort Scott. Was a Rookie of the Year in 1990, PRCA. His dad, Joe, introduced Barry and I to the workings of a bareback rigging and a glove and how to put it on. He went over basic stuff, and then a guy named Alfred Trapp. I don't know if you remember him, Sam. He was an IRA guy and local around here, but just rode like he was born there. Rode bareback horses really good, but he had other problems that kept him from doing as well as he would have.
You brought up a name that means a lot to me. John Luthi.
John Luthi.
As crazy as this is, it's crazy. Me and my brother went to the Little Britches Finals in Colorado when I was 10 years old.
Wow.
And his parents and my parents sat in the stands together.
I'll be there.
And years later, I was sitting in a motel in Missouri, and I got the magazine out, and I had my nephew with me, and I didn't rodeo that much then. I'd slowed down a lot, and I just took him to show him the ropes and all that. And I said, oh, man, look, there's a rodeo tonight in Fort Scott, Kansas. I know the contractor. I'll call him up, see if we can get in.
Yeah.
So I called him up, and it was Delane Long. And she said, yeah, come on over. And I said, I got my nephew here, and he'd like to get in too. She said, yeah, we could use you. Come on up. And my nephew was probably 18, 19 years old, and he was riding broncs halfway decent. And he wins the bronc riding there. He had roller coaster. I'd never been on that horse, but he was outstanding to ride. He wins the bronc riding. John Luthi comes up to him and gives him a scholarship that day to go to college. I said, who would ever think of that? And when we were just going to spend the night doing nothing.
Just doing that.
But I didn't know that he sat in the stands with my parents. And he come back. He said, I always wondered what happened to you boys.
Yeah.
What you'd done in life and where you'd gone. Because he said I was kind of impressed. Somebody from New York.
Right.
All that. But that goes to show you what a wonderful man.
Great man. And Jack left here going. We gave him an award today here at the thing, and I kind of lost my voice there when I was trying to tell all this, but it was so great when Jack left here. He was like a little brother to me. Remember I told you I lost my brother at 19, and Jack was a year younger than him. Jack was a wrestler, and we'd coached him wrestling. I went back and worked out with the team and got to coach him a little bit, and he was a good wrestler. When he left to go to Kansas, this John Luthi guy give him a deal, or I don't know what he had. I didn't really ask a lot of questions, but I knew he was leaving, and he had been traveling with me, and almost like a brother thing. And when he pulled out of his driveway to go to Kansas in an old reddish orange Ford pickup truck going to drive to Kansas, his mama and his girlfriend and me were standing in the front yard with tears in our eyes.
Yeah.
We all hated to see him go so bad, but it was the greatest thing he ever did. He went out there, Luthi, taught him all the techniques that we weren't using.
Yeah,
We were just, I'll be honest with you, when I first run my hand in the bareback rigging, I was just trying to be wild.
Yeah.
Because what little bit of it I'd seen on TV, Bruce Ford,
Yeah.
or Marvin Garrity, the one,
Yeah.
it was just, it looked wild to me. I didn't get the technique. I didn't soak in setting feet and lifting on rigging or any of that.
Yeah.
I was just hung up for 8 seconds and tried to spur like Hank as hard as I could, as long as I could. And that worked for a little bit around here. It beat my old hand up and it did some damage, but during all that time, that's what I was trying to do prior to a school, like you had talked about. Prior to any schools or anything, I was just trying to be wild.
So high school between your junior and senior year, rodeo.
No, after seniors. Just a little half of a year after seniors.
And then you stayed on with it at that point, or you went to college and shut it down?
Stayed on. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We had, around here at that time, we had a lot of open rodeos, they called it.
Okay.
We'd get a little postcard in the mail. Once you got on their mailing list and you called in on Monday, and you'd have to dial. You remember that sound?
Oh, yeah.
And it was these little open rodeos, you'd sit there and dial and get entered. And we had another opportunity, kind of like my wrestling coach, opportunity period. It was a great opportunity because we had several small stock contractors around here, had these rodeos regular. David Duke, Tony Woody, Clyde Gilmer, these guys were all within 60 miles of right here. And we would go to everything they had. But I would go and get on the horse I was entered on. And back then, it was kind of like a lot of these small rodeos now. We weren't getting any bareback riders. They weren't. There wasn't any around. I mean, there was some, but they were other places. Okay?
Yeah.
Well, they'd let me get on 2 or 3 for free.
For free.
So I would get on the horse I was entered on first, which was always a mistake. I never rode him as well as I did the next guy because I was bad by the second one. And so we'd run there. I'd get on 2 or 3 of them because I just filled the perf. I just helped fill up the chutes. And I'd get on 2 or 3 a night if I had a chute. David Duke loved it. It was only till I got older and realized guys pay you $10 or $20 to get on these extra horses.
Could have made some money.
Yeah, but we had a lot of learning, a lot of experience we needed. Joe, Jack's father, I was complaining one time. I can't remember how old I was or how long I've been riding. I was like, I'm just not catching on to this fast enough. I wasn't satisfied ever. I'm just not getting it. I'm not getting it, Joe. What am I doing wrong? And he's like, just get on the bucking horses and spur. I said, but I'm not getting it. I don't know what it is. He said, how many horses have you got on? I said, I've been on 25.
Yeah.
He goes, you see Sam's face? He said, go get on 200 bucking horses and come back and tell me if you even want to try to be a bareback rider. I finally began to soak it up a little bit. And I said, okay. So I kind of got the picture then, and I realized this is not an overnight thing. You're going to have to put a little something.
And you're still in college, still going to school?
Still going to school. Went to Barry and rodeoed the whole time and went to Georgia. And, of course, they like to have the professors and everything. When they find out you're doing that on the weekends, they're like making fun and asking questions. But the whole time I went to Georgia, and I finally got to winning a little bit. So if I won that weekend, I got to eat pretty good that week at Georgia at school. But if I didn't, that was my opportunity to get something good to eat. If I want to have some money to eat at McDonald's, the other way I'm going to have to eat in the cafeteria every day.
So were you hauling with Kevin and Adam at that point?
Didn't even know them.
Didn't know
them guys. Some of these local guys, and Marlon Harris was kingpin around here winning. I was patterning myself after Bill Harris, Harlan Ingram. I could name a bunch of them. Alfred Trapp was one of them that would actually put me on a horse and lead me around and make me spur him, slick-heeled, and do the Sankey training thing a little bit because he had been to a school, but I still didn't know anything except hang on and just spur like crazy. And that's pretty much my learning until I finally went to a school, which was some years later.
So not in college at that point?
Not in college.
Okay. So go ahead.
I got a question. When you go and you get on your contest horse and then they run other ones in there for you, were they the right kind or were they stuff they wanted to see buck or a combination of the both?
They were a combination. It was rolling the dice. It was everything from something that didn't have any sense at all and would flip over backwards to something that might jump out there and have that one wild horse trip that it'll never have again and hop up in the air. That happened too. But it wasn't really what you needed all the time.
Yeah, and after I was putting on rodeos, it was like, okay, we got to take care of these guys. And I had a pen full of just what they needed to get on and didn't usually put them in the draw. But
and that makes so much difference for a young guy.
You can't learn anything getting up off the ground.
No.
And you got to ride them to figure it out.
Yeah, and getting snatched around. On those new horses, the chute's a whole different. But it did chute break me. I mean, I wasn't scared of much in the chute after a while. We'd been on some of them nuts. Well, as far as the placing that time-wise, I did all those open rodeos leading through college. And then once I got out of college, I thought, this is the time I'm going rodeo.
Graduated with degree in?
Forestry management.
Okay. And did you start the career right off the bat? Meaning, did you get busy?
What I wanted to do was get busy rodeoing.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, that was my plan.
I mean,
personal
like
plan.
full time?
Like I wanted to try to do everything I could. Of course, back then, I really was in some kind of mindset that the best I can do at this point is ride around here and IPRA rodeos and work my way up. And because a lot of rodeos around here were co-sanctioned during that time. The ACA, American Cowboys, at its peak, it covered 9 states, I believe it was, and we had 10 or 12 stock contractors, and we'd had a pretty good finals. That was on down 4 or 5 years later, 89, 88, 87 was pretty hot during that time, and it was competitive. I mean, there was bareback riders coming from North the Carolinas and South Alabama. Victor Deck was one of them that come from down there, and he really rode good enough to make the NFR. He wound up making the NFR in steer wrestling. He just quit bareback riding one day and
Really?
got on the weights and made it the next year in the dang steer wrestling. That's how much of an athlete he was.
Wow.
Did you hear that, Colton? Get on the weights.
Get on the weights. Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
guarantee you. There was just guys like that were really talented, like Bingham Hefner and Harold Miller, guys that you'll know from IFR finals and stuff like that. I think Harold rode bareback horse till he was 60-something. He went to the IFR and it was like 62. Am I right, Sam? It was something crazy. Like
It was
It ain't been long.
ludicrous number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
It makes no sense.
Yeah.
well,
God bless him.
there you go. Bless his heart.
Yeah.
So,
I'm learning that Southern lingo.
yeah. So coming kind of full circle, the wrestling mindset, the individual sport, right? The individual
Right.
drive, the
Right.
aggression.
Right.
How was that applying to rodeo for you at that point?
At that point right there, when I was getting out of college, that things had went the way I needed it to. And what I mean is, applied those things I'd learned wrestling, the opportunity, the this and that, and the positive reinforcement and the positive thinking, but it didn't go that way.
It did.
No.
Because
My brother was killed in '86. I won the finals in '85. The ACA finals. I won the average there in '85, and so I was come back in '86, planning on doing the same cotton picking thing. I won Friday night performance. We went to the contestants meeting on Saturday, and my brother was killed at 1:30 that afternoon. A train hit the car. He was a passenger in.
oh wow.
And I didn't know it. Good friend David Fowler, who was another good bareback rider, him and his father were waiting on me when I got out of the meeting. They kept saying, you need to go up to the room. We need to talk. I said, well, what is it? What is it? Had my girlfriend with me at that time. I thought something might have happened to her, the way they were acting. And I was worried, and they said, just come on up here. And, of course, they got me up there in private and told me what had happened. And so everything changed. So 1986, everything changed. My brother got killed. It was a shock on my father and my mother. They were separated and remarried, but it's tough to talk about, really, even to this day, because he meant so much to me. Like I said, he was a wrestler, too. He never rodeoed. He didn't have any plans to rodeo, but he had followed my father's footsteps and was working with Georgia Power. He had a good job, 19 years old, everything lining out. He was going to be fine. And when that happened to him, I don't know that it was as much about my mother never really wanted me to ride bareback horses, and neither did my dad. That just wasn't their thing. But I don't know if it was so much that she didn't want me to, and I felt obligated to her, or more that I just was reading into what she needed. And the truth is, she didn't need me at all. She was a teacher, and she had everything. But right behind him getting killed in November, by March, her cancer had come back that she had hysterectomy for, ovarian cancer, when we were kids, like
Wow.
when I was 13 or something. I don't even know the exact date because I can't ask her.
Yeah.
But that come back with her that year. the same year he got killed, and she fought it for 7 years. So you remember me telling you previous talking, we talked about 8 years. There was 8 years there that I should have been better in my career or should have been doing something. I never went to a school or nothing. I kept rodeoing. I kept riding bucking horses.
All the way through this.
All the way through it, because that was my thing. I remember the first rodeo I went to after Chad got killed, and the pickup man come in there, and I didn't even realize it. I stepped down, and I was bawling. I know cowboys don't admit to stuff like that, but there was so much emotion in me that never had got out. It was probably a few weeks, months, maybe even a few months before I went to a rodeo after that. I remember stepping down, and I was like, what is all this? And it was just pouring out of me. It's like wrestling. When that's pent up, it just, you really, I really needed it. I really needed it more than I ever did. But I just kept doing like I had been doing, going to local rodeos, staying in the Southeast, trying to maintain. And my mother was hating it because she had just lost a son. She didn't want another one going out there getting on bucking horses. But I felt obligated enough when I graduated from college. My plan was to go rodeoing. I would have been, 22, 24 years old, somewhere in there. Well, that changed everything. I felt obligated to make sure I could take care of my mom. She was way better off than I was. She didn't need me to take care of them, but I had the responsibility in my brain. And so I had to stay close, and I got a job, and I went to work for the Georgia Forestry Commission in 1987. But I still kept rodeoing in the ACA and in the Southeast and everything I could go to in 87, but I really wanted to get better. I really wanted to take a next step somehow, but I didn't feel like I could just take off, across the wild blue yonder. I felt like my mom needed, and she didn't, but I thought she did. And so we toughed all that out, and she passed 7 years after he did. So we're talking about 86 to 93. So 93 rolls around. I got to back up a little bit for the rodeo school and the Lyle Sankey involvement, which really turned my head around in 88 and 89. And that's when I got to meet people like John Luthi. I already knew about Jack going out there and him getting some great coaching and coming home, and another guy or two had went out there from Georgia. Got to where he liked to see guys from Georgia coming on that Bareback ride. Mm-hmm. When I met Lyle and we went to the first Sankey school, I really wasn't coachable. I had all this stuff going on in my head. I was like compartmentalized. And I was like, look, I just want y'all to show me how to spur better. I don't want you messing my rigging. The way I keep my hand in, I've been riding bucking horse for 8 years. I was, like I told you, I was essentially hung up for 8 seconds. I mean, I really wasn't lifted, I just hung up. But I didn't know the difference, and I wasn't real coachable.
So you weren't coachable?
Well, yeah. At that point, I wasn't nothing like I had been.
Well, and I was going to keep asking you how did you do it and stay focused with everything that's going on? You know, when you get on them bucking horses, you got to blank everything else out and just ride. So I'm hearing you saying I'm not coachable. Well, you're not blocking everything out. You got anger in you.
Right.
And
I wasn't receiving it. Maybe I just wasn't receiving it. Just mad.
Yeah, just mad at the world.
Just mad at the world.
Took your mother, took your brother.
Right.
And I don't want you to tell me how to do it. I know how to do it. Well,
what are you doing here? What are you doing here?
If I do schools, you know better than I do. Why'd you spend your money?
So,
But you don't know what's going on in the background.
Right.
You don't know that. And to be focused, to get on horses, when I was going through my first divorce, I could not focus. I'd be out there riding, thinking about it, and not riding good.
Yeah.
So what you went through, not to be coachable, I think you were probably just mad at the world.
Right.
Don't talk. Don't.
Yeah, that sums it up. And
us
so
hard-headed guys, we bow up.
And Lyle was patient and knew he could look at me probably from 20 foot away and know what was wrong with me, but until I admitted it myself. So he kept on at me, and he said, just look. He said, what is your goals? This is after this is before Mom had passed, but after I went to a couple of schools. And I went to several because I just couldn't get enough of it, and I wouldn't listen to them, but I couldn't get enough of it, right? Hard-headed, man. And so when I finally started soaking it in and realizing stuff like guys like Carpenter, for instance, he was a bronc rider, but
Rick
and he could look right through me, I think. And he was an influence, and even DeWitt Forrest. DeWitt was country as grits, and he was a instructor at Lyle schools, more or less trying to get me through that hard-headedness so I'd listen. And so with all that going on, before Mom ever passed, I went to several schools and actually had been an instructor at the school. I finally soaked in some of that, don't hang up and flog for 30 seconds.
Them a little bit.
Lift a little bit and learn to set your feet. So we worked all through a lot of that, and finally, well, I won't say finally is not a good word, but eventually my mom had got sicker and sicker and went on and passed in 93. And I'd already been to circuit finals or two and was competing in the PRCA. One of the funny things that Lyle said to me, he said, Phil, this is back in the late 80s, he goes, what is your goal? He's big on setting goals, and you should be. I really don't have a specific goal, but I just want to be the best I can. But I'd really like to do that Vegas thing one day. That's really, he said, so your goal, you're saying me your long-term goal would be to try to make the NFR. I said, yes, of course. Ain't that everybody's? But he goes, well, why do you not have a permit? Why are you not going to PRCA rodeos? I said, Lyle, I can't even win the ACA. I mean, I was I was entered. You hear me? I was going. I said, I can't even win the ACA. And there were some sharks in the ACA. Bill Harris and these guys that you just saw today, they were in there. And I said, I can't even win this deal. He said, I didn't know it was a prerequisite. And
to win the
it's
the
not a
ACA,
prerequisite.
Yeah.
And I finally soaked in. You're talking about two different things. You're never going to compete with these guys until you go compete with these guys.
Yeah.
You're not going to sit off over here and work up to it. It's not like high school, college, pro.
Yeah.
You just got to get in there with them.
Yeah.
And so finally, like I said, 89, I got a first permit. And by 93, when Mom passed, I'd been to several circuit finals and just figured that was all old Phil was ever going to be able to do. But Mom passed, didn't have that obligation. She left a little bit of money. The house was paid off, or just about paid off. I thought, dang, here I am. I mean, in 93, when she passed, I was 30 years old.
Yeah.
I was married and kind of planning on having a kid.
Yeah.
So now do you go rodeo? Now you're gonna decide to go rodeo, and I really wanted to.
Yeah.
So within a few years, I did.
You did.
Yeah.
Full time.
97, 98, 99, I got to get in with some guys and go full time, and didn't work. And the whole time prior to that, though, I'd been working for the Forestry Commission, state, which is a pretty good job. You had a lot of holidays and a lot of things, and you do little special things, and you could get to a lot of rodeos. So I'd go to 80-something rodeos and work full time.
Yeah. Now, before you go there, earlier you said you weren't coachable, didn't feel coachable, didn't take coaching, whatever you want to say. I know Lyle talked about goals and all that sort of thing. What kind of things were they wanting you to focus on and do?
Well, they were wanting me to rebuild myself, tear this junk out of your rigging. Let's start over. I guess I was in love with some kind of false love with everything I was doing, and I just wanted to be coached on certain parts. I didn't want to give up the whole thing. Almost like somebody talking about Jesus. You just don't want quite, you want to do better, you want to go to church, and you want to start doing things, but you just going to keep this little corner of stuff for yourself.
Yeah.
We won't talk about this.
Yeah.
We'll just fix all this other stuff for me.
Yeah.
Well, it don't really work like that, right?
Yeah.
And I was kind of that way about what I needed to do in my bareback riding career if I was going to have one.
So they was looking to retool.
They just said, Bud, you just out of whack. You need to just
Everything.
And that just offended me. I should
appreciate their help.
Yes, sir. I mean, I should have been offended, but at myself, not at anybody else. So, but that was our late 80s. So by the time
93,
93 and on into there, I'd already submitted and changed. By that time I was
change?
Yes.
Okay.
Now the hardest time I had was around 90, 91, trying to change those things.
You're retooling.
In wrestling, if you learn a move and you learn it wrong, you're going to do it wrong. It's terrible to have to try to learn undo it, and redo it. And that's what I was doing in 90, 91, 92, 93, all that. I was hard to get along with kind of guy. because
So-
I had about half the time trying to change all that and keep my, what would you call it? Not pride, but keep yourself. It is pride, I guess. Dignity. I don't want to. I'm getting thrown off of stuff that I would have never got thrown off
Yeah,
of. What's
yeah,
going on here?
yeah.
Am I too old? I mean, I'm
Yeah.
over 30 now.
Yeah.
And no, I wasn't too old. But I
So-
was fixing stuff that needed fixing that I should have fixed
Coulda. Yeah.
6 years earlier.
Yeah. So back to the wrestling examples you've given, and that's all been absolutely perfect. There were opportunities. You took that opportunity, right? That different mindset that you're wrestling coach. You got an opportunity here. This
Right.
last hour of practice
Right.
and drills.
Through.
Did you bring that forward? Did you say, you know what? I'm not going to win every match.
Right.
I'm going to get beat when I'm young. When I'm
Right.
coming up as a freshman, I'm going to get beat.
Right.
It's going to happen. Can I bounce back? Can I learn? Can I drill?
Right.
Build that skill. Build that confidence.
Right.
Did you take that approach?
Ed, I think so. I'll tell you, I was pretty far into I can't remember the year. And a guy said, man, when you get on your spurboard, you can work on this stuff. You can try to lift and try to get. I said, I really don't have a spurboard. I didn't have a spurboard. I had never been on a spurboard.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I was practicing was when I was entered.
Yeah.
And then I realized, man, you did all this drilling, wrestling, and you ain't doing nothing.
You didn't just learn it on the mat, did you?
You just run that hand in
match.
there and say, let him have me, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I had so many things to overcome during those few years right there, and learning to get drill and work work harder. It wasn't that I wasn't trying, it was just that I wasn't trying correctly.
There you
Yeah,
go.
you can practice all you want to.
Right.
But if you don't practice,
What do you call it? What do you call it?
Practice perfect.
yeah. Practice don't make it perfect. Perfect practice makes it.
Perfect. Yeah.
And I wasn't doing any of it. So,
So
I
in that
changed
8
all that.
years, basically hung up and riding.
yeah.
Injuries?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Just banged up all the time.
What specifically?
Well, I can't remember the years, but I mean, if I started at the bottom, I broke this. You just want me to name them all.
I mean, yeah, the kind of stuff, you
yeah,
know.
like the fence is not your friend. That's one of the first things I teach at a school, right? Well, I was somewhere in Louisiana, and Big Air was with me, and the horse goes into the corner, and there the fence is. He's just hopping. I just hop right off, grab it. I'm standing on the panels. Horse is going to kick you when he runs by you. That's just what they do. And he kicked me right in the spur and jammed my toes right into the wall that was behind the panels. I went on and helped my bronc rider buddy pull his saddle and everything, get on. He has a good day, and he didn't have a whole lot of good days. He was an older guy that just rode to be riding. And he didn't have a lot of wins, but he was winning the check, so he was happy. So he wants to stand around just a few minutes with his buddies and stand around it and talk about it and drink a beer and enjoy himself. And I'm saying, Big, I said, man, my foot hurts. My toes. I think that sunker did something to my toes. And then a little while, about 30 minutes later, I'm like, my daggum toes is really hurting. Can we look at them? He said, just shut up about the toes. We'll look at them before we leave. Finally, after he gets through, intermission or something, we finally amble out there to the truck. We had this kid with us. I said, come here and pull this boot off. He pulled that boot off. He goes, ugh. I said, what is it? I felt something cold. My whole sock was blood. The big toe, bone out of the big toe was poking out of the bottom. And you could see it. It was like a little point, and the big toe was sitting back here like a piece that, like he was doing this. Set it back about an inch
Split the
behind.
toe open.
Yeah, and the toe beside that was broke too, and it was peeled back, so they were both sticking up like a peace sign. And Harry, the guy that was trying to get me to shut up, he comes and walks around the truck, and the way it was, the arena lights were back behind the truck, and I had my foot sticking out of that Capri camper so they could see it. And he walks around and he said, blankety blank. He cussed like a sailor. He goes, blankety blank. I was in Vietnam and I ain't never seen no toes uglier than that. So that was, I mean, if you started at the bottom, I had a compound fracture on that foot. Bingham and Adam, you've talked to them guys.
Yeah,
We were over in Mississippi one time. One hung my foot in the gate. Break that ankle, you got screws there. And then I've had both knees worked. Actually, I had messed a knee up, remember, in wrestling in high school, and then I messed another one up in college rodeoing, so I had 2 knee surgeries.
Okay.
And then now, after rodeoing, I got 2 fake hips.
You do now?
Yeah, 2 good old metal hips.
Yeah.
And a rod in my
femur?
Not femur, the big bone on
tibula?
Yeah.
Okay.
On your shin bone, your shin bone.
Okay.
Your big rod in there, screws in the right ankle.
All during that 8 years?
Not during that 8 years. That was a whole deal. But during that 8 years, it was just always, when you're doing things wrong, you're just staying banged up.
Yeah.
Tore muscles in my thighs. I mean, just tore the quad in 2 because I wasn't working out right.
Yeah.
Like I overdid the workout.
Yeah.
I went from doing nothing to doing too much, and then you tear a muscle in 2 because you don't know what you're doing.
So, and the reason I ask all this, Phil, you've got this 8-year period. You're not advancing the way you want to, yet you're not coachable, and you're coming out now. You're pretty dinged up, pretty banged up. Now it's time to retool, and you got the injuries to deal with as well. And there's limitations
Yeah.
when you got
Collarbone, you
injured.
tore loose.
Okay. So, like Tiger Woods retooling his whole game, his whole swing. That's kind of where you are. Begin again.
Right.
Crash this down. Begin again.
Right.
Talk about that rebuild process. I know you bucked off horses you shouldn't have bucked off, but you was making headway. You could see it.
Yeah, I could. When it worked, it would really work. When it didn't work, it wouldn't.
Okay.
Wouldn't work.
And how long before it became consistently working?
I think it was at least 1 or 2 seasons that I battled to, at least 1 or 2. I mean, I'm not talking about every horse.
No,
but
I get it.
Just a why did that happen? Why am I doing that? I got to correct this. And of course, maybe everybody goes through that. I didn't think it was any different because at the same time, I had young guys like Jack Sims, or he had went to college, but I had other guys like him that were traveling with me, and I was coaching on them.
Yeah.
I was saying, look, you're not lifting on your rigging.
Yeah.
And they were probably looking at me like, are you sure? Because, I remember I remember one time Bruce Ford, when I was at Georgia, they have a PRCA rodeo there, and it was in the Coliseum. And if you're a student, you can enter local. So whole field was signed up. So I was in the Bareback riding. And I just never been to a PRCA rodeo. I've been to one, but I ain't never been entered.
Okay.
And I was a student there, so I entered. And I'm putting my rigging on, sitting in the chute, and some guy walks up out here outside the arena and throws his rigging on my gate, and he's waiting on his horse to run in there. And it was Bruce Ford. Wow. And so I'm Ned from the first reader, and I'm sitting there, Bruce throws his deal up on the gate, and I'm enamored, of course, and I said, well, I'm going to get to watch him ride. I wasn't even thinking, you know what I'm saying? I was just happy I was going to get to see him ride. So I go ahead and mount up, and I rode by and went off down the pen, and I spurred him, and not a whole lot of points, and come back, and he was standing over there, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to ask him. I'm just going to ask him. I'd say, no, don't go over there and act stupid. Yeah, let's go at it. So finally went over there and asked him, I said, Mr. Ford, he said, I'm Bruce. I'm Bruce. Call me Bruce. He didn't want that. And I said, did you see my ride? He said, yeah, you got on a little sorrel that went down through there. I was surprised he even watched the ride.
Yeah.
You got on a little sorrel that went down the fence. I said, yes, sir. I'd say. He said, you're just not lifting on your rigging. I said, well, wait. He said, look, and he did the same little old picture perfect pose we all do with our free hand right there where it belongs, and our chin on our chest, and on a little bit of a curl with that lift, and stuck his old foot out there like he was setting it, and I'm like, yeah, okay. And I said, and here I am. Here goes Phil, who should shut up. He goes, but Bruce, I watched you ride, and I could see when you were going away from me right here, I was standing at the chutes, I could see your face. I said, I could see you looking back at me. You went right here. And I was like, how do you work that? He said, look at when his front feet hit the ground. Not what you see when everything's flying. My neck, my feet are right there. I'm right here. That's what you're not doing. And that was like I just read 3:16 for the first time.
Yeah.
So love the world. I mean, it was earth. Look where I'm at when he touches the ground.
Yeah.
I had been just fly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That was probably 83 or something. So No, 85. That's before 85, 84. So I thought, golly, I didn't even know you're supposed to beat them. I mean, I knew you're supposed to beat them to the ground, but I didn't know what I was doing wrong. And he just said it right there in one sentence, and I just said, wow. And I know that sounds ridiculous to say that.
It's
but
one
it's
thing
true.
to understand it, but another thing to try to begin to
Right.
apply it.
Right. It's like if you're shooting a half and you're not putting it chest to chest and you're not getting this hand in between your chest, you're not doing it right. You're never going to penny.
Right.
You just got it hung over there. The old chicken flop, half Nelson that everybody does.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to pin the guy.
Nope. And,
Same difference.
yeah, and you want to look where your feet are supposed to be.
Right.
That keeps your chin tucked, keeps everything
That puts
in
everything
position,
just right where you're supposed to.
But just look where your feet are supposed to be.
So I'm not saying that changed it overnight, but, just the instruction that needs to be done for every guy that's going to get on a bareback horse or saddle bronc horse for that matter, it's right there. But I wasn't pursuing it. I was just thinking I thought I was going to invent it myself. I don't know what I thought. I was just going to tough it out.
Okay, sure.
And that was a big part of me. That was the beginning. And then, of course, we went through the Lyle Sankey schools and all that, and John Luthi and the different guys that I was lucky enough to get involved with, and I just got to riding better.
So in that 2-year period where you're retooling, relearning, towards the end of that second season, you're there?
No,
No.
you're still learning.
Still learning.
You're still learning. I was
Okay.
still learning for a long time.
Okay.
In 97, when I quit work and went to Rodeo, I was still really learning a lot.
So
I
now-
think I was.
So 97, you're how old?
34.
Family.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kids, my kids were born 94 and 96.
Okay. 3-year-old, 1-year-old. So got a family at the house and good paying job.
Yeah.
And you said, I'm
Rodeo.
going.
Yeah.
And that meant I'm going everywhere.
I went
I'm
ev-
out.
I went everywhere,
Yeah.
and it was tough.
So who'd you jump with?
Well, it kind of varied. You know what I'm saying? I just went.
You did
and
by
started
yourself
Yeah,
mostly?
not by myself. I mean, I had different ones, young guys here, Chad Hughes and Brian Bowen, that went with me for a period of time, and them guys they were young. They weren't necessarily working on the same plan I was, and they would run out of money and go home, and you know what I'm saying, and then back and forth. At one point, I got to travel with Lance Crump just a short time. You remember Lance Crump? He's a great guy. He could quote every Jerry Clower deal they ever did. He could quote every word of it in the truck. That got me introduced to James Boudreaux and some of them guys that rode really great. And later on, it was Jared Laverne and James. I got to travel with them guys. And 97, 98, 99, I was getting with those guys as much as I could, learning as much as I could, and still sometimes I was just out there going. But
So mostly East Coast, going north, going west. Where were you going?
there was a period of time I just entered the highest added money rodeos that was going on that week, and that was not the way to do it. That was another thing that Bruce actually told me himself. At Frontier Pies in Salt Lake City, we sat down and ate with him, and he said, "You've entered these boys a little heavy, haven't you?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Well, we're on the trail."
Yeah.
He said, "You're gonna have to change the way you do it.
Gotta make money, right?
Yeah, you got to make money." Maybe the whole title of this thing just be "How Not to Do It" by Phil Broome. I don't know.
So you was able to stay out money-wise and everything?
Well, see, as like I was telling you, when my mom passed in 93, it left me in a different financial. I wasn't worried about, as I going to have to,
Okay.
she wasn't going to donate to Rodeo,
I see.
right? I mean, I had what I had, and I could go as hard as I could go. But once it was all mine, I thought, you know what? I got a little money in the bank. I've been wanting to do this all my life. I said, I'm fixing to go. And at the time, my wife, we had a 10-year plan that we had, back to Lyle Sankey, we had this book and we went through it, The Making of a Champion. Did you ever see that one? It was a notebook and you got all these affirmations and everything, and then you set up goals and plans. Well, I had it on paper where went in this book years earlier and wrote, by this year we're going to be in the PRCA and we're going to be making the circuit finals and we're going to be doing this. And all that was wrote down, and every bit of it had happened except for the big one that everybody wants. And then I wasn't doing it for a living. I was working still.
Mm-hmm.
I was supposed to have already got my wife through college,
Mm-hmm.
which had happened. She was a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
We were going to move home from Milledgeville, Middle Georgia, but Macon type area right there, up here. We're going to have our kids where they were close to their grandparents. My mother passing was not part of the goal. It wasn't in there.
Yeah.
That was something that we dealt with, but the rest of it had all happened just like we planned it. We were there. She was a teacher. She got a job in Calhoun. She had the best paying job she could get in her field right here in northwest Georgia. We were at home. We were living in my mother's house.
Mm-hmm.
She was gone, but that wasn't part of the plan, but we were there, and I had a certain amount of money in the bank.
Mm-hmm.
And I sat down with an accountant, and I said, look here, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
My salary's this, and it wasn't much with the Forest Commission. I mean, I wasn't making a pile of money. And I said, I'm going to replace this with this little bit of money right here that I have in the bank, plus my rodeo. He said, well, what do you mean plus? I said, this is what I've won in the past 5 years. And that was ACA rodeos and whatever rodeos I was going to. PRCA 2 in the Southeastern Circuit, but I wasn't getting out of the circuit much. And he said, well, I believe you can do it 2 years. I said, 2 whole years. I can take off from work and not hurt my family at all. He said, with this money, and you say that you can make rodeo and pay for itself, and I managed to do that. This money will pay your bills, and your family will live the same with your wife's salary, as long as she don't quit her job, and everything will be the same with your family for 2 years. Well, I stretched it into 3.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay.
I won enough to where it lasted us, and we made it 3 years. 97, 98, 99. Well, I was divorced by 2000.
Right.
So
Right.
it went south in the middle of all that. So
So were you out full time at this point? How often did you come back to the house?
I would be gone 3 weeks at a time, sometimes 6. Not very often would I be gone over a month, but I'd be gone 2 or 3 weeks a lot.
And you would set up, sleep in the truck and everything like that? Camper?
And had different times, had different traveling partners. But I really loved traveling with Jared Laverne, man, that joker. But that's a whole nother But, you know, we were rodeoing. We weren't goofing off. I mean, there was no...
Yeah. Yeah.
There was fun to be had.
But you were going.
But, yeah,
It was
we
business.
were business.
Business.
Fun,
Yeah.
but take care of business.
Fun,
while
but
you're
take
doing
care of business. And going back to the wrestling thing, I wished I'd have been more home based where I could do the workout thing, where I could keep up. Because when
I
you're
see.
out there doing that,
Road's
it's
hard.
really hard.
It is.
And
Diet's hard. All of that's hard.
Yeah, we're banged up, injury. There was shoulder surgery mixed in there that Tandy Freeman did. I was just sitting in his parking lot when I called him. I'd went over there and got on Susie Q of Donnie's, and he said, Phil, you can win rodeo on this horse. You're probably going to be ranked right out of there, and in 2 or 3 jumps, you're good. Well, I already had a collarbone that was killing me, and I didn't know why. Now, this is kind of a crazy part. I had rode 10 years with this bad collarbone that I'd hurt right here at a local rodeo. Little horse ducked out from under me, and I dumped on my head, 3rd-degree separation of the clavicle. Fine. I made me a little brace. I taped that thing on. It was like a figure 8, you know how when you break your collarbone. So I copied that and made this deal, and I'd put it on before every time, put my shirt on top of it. You couldn't even see it. Tape my arm up and ride, and it worked. As long as I didn't get way away from my hand.
Had you not been to the doctor and got diagnosed
I went
with
to the
this?
doctor,
You
and
did.
they misdiagnosed. They told me I had a 3rd-degree separation of the clavicle.
Yeah.
Okay, so we fast forward. I'm talking about 8 or 10 years later. I ride this horse that everybody knew, High Shap. Won him around at Houston. He tossed me over his head after the whistle. When I tried to double grab him, he's just got a lot of drop to him, and he just sprung me right on. Hit on that shoulder, and I thought, golly, that hurt. Same old shoulder. I was used to it. It hurt all the time. So I didn't think nothing of it. Well, I rodeoed another 3 or 4 weeks, and we'd went to Donnie's thing there, and I had a boy named Chad Hughes with me. I told Chad, I said, if this is bareback riding, I'm done with it.
Yeah.
He said, what do you mean? We got to go to these rodeos. I said, I'm telling you, it hurts like a tooth. I said, I can't stand it. I was shaking when I got off, and I thought, this just ain't right. That was Sunday. Monday morning, I was sitting in Tandy's parking lot and calling the office, and I said, I'm Phil Broome, Bareback rider from Georgia. And the lady receptionist said, well, when can you be out here? I said, I'm in the parking lot. She said, go get some breakfast and come back at lunch and we'll work you in. So he saw me. He x-rayed it. He come back in there, and this Tandy's so funny. He walked in there and stuck the x-ray up there on that light panel. He stuck that thing up there and said, tell me again what you did 10 years ago. I said, 3rd degree separation of the clavicle. That's my collarbone, right? He said, yeah, but it ain't no 3rd degree separation. You broke your collarbone 10 years ago, and it's still in there. The piece of bone is still in there rattling around. And what's happened, when you hit the other day and hurt it, the next 3 weeks, that thing's just been jobbing around in there like this, and you're riding with a broken collarbone.
You couldn't feel it moving?
Hell yes. I could feel it. That's like asking Gus, was he all right with that arrow sticking out of his knee? Hell no, I ain't all right. I'd made this brace thing, see, that covered it up, and as long as I stayed right here, it didn't hurt. But boy, if you ever got out there like that, it talked to you pretty good. But anyway.
Forced your form.
If you got out of shape a little bit, you really got tough. Hey, you're a little out of shape. So anyway, I did. That's true. And he looked at me and he said, really, you've been riding like this? And I said, I'm telling you, it was right after my brother got killed. I got dumped on my head. So I know that's how I knew when it was. And he goes, well, you've been riding with a messed up shoulder for all this time. One of my buddies was there getting his shoulder fixed. He said, I can do the same thing I'm going to do to his shoulder. And we'll just fix it on. You'll be out about 8 months and you'll be back. You'll have to rehab it and you'll be back. I thought, I'm 34 years old. 8 months is a death sentence to a 34-year-old guy. Or I'll clean it up a little bit. I'll take that piece of bone out, and I'm going to smooth up that piece that's pointy and sticking you in the shoulder there. I'm going to clean it up, and you'll be a little bit better. It's not going to be fixed, but it'll be better. Or I can just sew it up. I can just do nothing, and you can wait about 6 or 8 weeks. It's surrounded by scar tissue, and you can get that stuff healed up as best it would and just go back to using your daggum brace. I said, I can't do the 8-month thing. And so that's another probably stupid decision. But I said, I can't do that. I can't be out that long. I ain't got that long left. I'm in trouble here. We're talking. We got to make it work.
Yeah.
So I said, I'll do the 8-week thing. And so he said, I'll schedule it tomorrow. This other hospital, you really can't afford to do it here. He's going to take me to this other hospital. And we did it over there. And I literally slept in his carport apartment for about 2 or 3 days while Chad, my traveling partner there, took my truck and went to some other rodeos.
Sure.
I would be on pain pills and wake up, it's for the first 2 or 3 days there. And there'd be a sandwich on the little table beside the bed. I don't know, somebody come in there, I guess his wife or him, I can't believe he did that for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's how great a guy is. There'd be a sandwich sitting there. I'd wake up, I'd eat that sandwich and eat another pain pill and go back to sleep. And Chad showed up 3 days later, picked me up, went home, and waited 6 weeks and come back rodeoing.
So rehab?
Started back, started rodeo and was back at Cody, Wyoming on the 4th of July and didn't do the rehab like what we would think we should do. We went back rodeoing.
Yeah.
And just...
Was okay at that point?
Well, I mean, I could ride them, but it wasn't optimum.
So didn't have strength.
It was just, you just
still
competing.
Had pain.
You're just competing with the pain. You're just doing what you had to do. Really.
Yeah.
Because I was limited. I always felt I'm running out of time, right? So.
And was able to move away from the pain pills?
I didn't use the pain pills past the first 2 or 3 days.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I was ice after that.
Yeah.
It was ice.
Yeah.
But really, at 34, you're max. 40 is beyond belief. 35,
Bareback,
you really lose that quickness, that reflexes. At least I did.
I think I got better till I was 41.
Is that right?
Yes, sir. I think I did. I think I was riding better when a horse flipped over on me at 41 than I'd ever rode in my life. I really do. I don't know that I was. I just convinced myself that I was, or I thought I was, but I was riding pretty good. I rode the 2004, won the circuit Southeast. The deal was, when I wound up, I told you I got divorced in 2000. This sounds like a Hallmark movie or something. No. At 2000, got divorced, and I had to come home. I didn't have the whatever it was going to take to continue to do what I'd been doing. I had to come home and get a job. Went back to circuit rodeo.
Run out of money.
Went back to circuit rodeo.
Yeah.
Working.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
And working back into my forestry background. I was in telecommunications for a while and worked my way back into forestry. And eventually with the commission, and then eventually now I'm working for the paper mill in Rome, and I've got a really nice job.
Timber buyer.
Timber buyer. But leading up to 2004, won the circuit a couple of times and rodeoed with these guys, had a ball. And
So go back to 2000. You're at Cody on the 4th of July. Did you make the big run? Did you go?
Went pretty hard that 4th of July, and it had been 8 weeks. We entered everywhere, and I got on most of them. I think there was 1 or 2 that I might have turned out. We had a bunch of them entered, but I had a pretty good kind of horse at Cody. It was 1 point out, just that kind of thing. I'll tell a funny story about Chad Hughes if I can. That boy that was traveling, stout, bronky, young country boy from right here, Calhoun, Georgia. This horse flips over on him at Cody that day. Little gray kind of horse just coming around there, reared up, fell over on her haunches, as you have seen them do, and just rolled backwards. I thought I was fixing to watch my friend just get folded in half, right? So she rolled back, Chad bowed up and pushed, and I'm not kidding, his shoulders was on the ground, the back of his head. He bowed up and pushed. I got a picture of it on my phone. Bowed up and pushed, and that horse stopped falling this way and fell sideways. It was the dangest thing I ever seen. He just bowed up and kept that horse from rolling back on him and pushed that sucker over sideways that day. A horse's weight coming, and that's a lot. I mean, he bowed up, son, but I guess he saw the writing on the wall. I don't know, but he bowed up and pushed that horse over sideways, and we went home without any money.
Did you? So you made the run and you had to come home at that point.
Won a little more money.
But you said you went 3 years, not 2 years, like the accountant said you could do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I lasted till 99.
Yeah.
And before the divorce, I hate to bring that part up, but before the divorce, the deal was, you're going to come home or we're going to get divorced.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay. My family should have been first the whole time, and really, in my head it was, but maybe in her head it wasn't. Mm-hmm. And understandably so. Mm-hmm. So I come home in 99 and get a job, and I'm still rodeoing. I said, I'll come home, but I'm not quitting. Mm-hmm. I'm going to rodeo like we used to in the circuit and right here. Mm-hmm. And I kept rodeoing. We wound up divorced anyway in 2000. Mm-hmm. And then I rodeoed on till 2004 when the horse at Tallahassee just kind of scattered across the arena there at the Florida State. Had a little rodeo there, and the horse just kind of scattered across there, and when he hit the fence, he looked like somebody hit him in the head with a baseball bat. He never saw it coming. He just run in the fence and flipped over, straight. So I couldn't go over here. I was going to be under the horse, and I had to go here, and I watched that thing break. The horse come down right there.
Your wrist, your arm?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Really?
Yes, sir. Broke the ligament out of this thumb. Broke the ligament out of this thumb. You can see the scars right there. That's where they went up there and pulled one out of here and put it back down here. And I got all this souvenirs. So the way I rode, I had like a forearm pad and like a brace on my elbow and a neoprene sleeve like you see the guys. So all that was taped up.
So that kept that all intact.
So when it fell, I heard it crunch. I knew it crunched. Well, he fell on over, and I'm sitting here, he's laying on the side, and he starts getting up.
Yeah.
And I think, okay, now things are really fixing to get serious because my hand is broke all to crap, and he's going to get up and run off. I know what he's going to do. Yeah. I just don't know what I'm going to do. Yeah. So I had to reach and get it and get that joker
out of the bind.
And remember, I was hung up.
Yeah,
I liked it that way.
Yeah.
But I had to get it out, so I got it out. Well, he gets on up. And so I got it like this, and I managed.
So you were able to get out before he got up?
Yeah, I got my hand out. And he
Okay.
got up. I think I would have lost use of this hand if I hadn't got it out. Because this was all broke
Just
bad.
pulled your hand off.
Yeah, if at least, if at worst,
Yeah.
at least it was going to twist all them ligaments and stuff out of crap.
Yeah.
So he got up, took off, and I'm like this, and there's always a arena guy that comes to you. You okay? I said, heck no, I ain't okay. I said, I think you broke my arm. He said, maybe it ain't broke. And I felt something cold in my hand, the other hand. Looked down there, and it was just full of blood. So I said, yeah, it's a compound fracture. So we walked over there and went through all the ordeal with the ambulance people that don't know what's straight up. So
To the hospital.
to the hospital and surgery, 3 surgeries,
3 surgeries.
bone graft, and a year and a half later, I was able to do this. That's it. But I can use my hand, and I can haul hay, or I can do whatever.
And that was 2004.
That was 2004.
So that was the last horse.
That was it.
Okay.
No farewell tour or nothing.
No?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to do like
Not
Kevin
yet.
Ellis and go around and tell everybody this is my last year for 3 years.
Not yet, maybe, Phil. Yeah. So you win the circuit how many times?
Three times.
Yeah.
No, 3 times.
Yeah. Pocatello?
You can tell how serious I am. Now, I qualified for Pocatello like 4 times, I
Yeah,
believe.
yeah.
I didn't go every time. It's a really tough rodeo to work if you're out of money at the end of the year, because you can't fly. It costs so much to fly up there. They're not even having it now, are they?
Not
They-
in Pocatello.
It's in
But
Colorado Springs.
it was so
yeah.
expensive to fly there. I mean,
Yeah.
you were like weighing it out. Like I could fly there in March, or I could go to these other rodeos that count for next year. So I actually passed up on Pocatello once.
Did you ever
Because-
fly in there?
Yeah, I didn't fly in there. I flew to Salt Lake and drove. But and one time I rode with, remember Shetland, Scherer? His last name was Scherer. Bronc rider.
Can't say as I do.
I jumped in there with him and a boy from Montana and was going to catch this ride. I think we got there, the horses were loaded. Man, it was terrible. You don't show up at Pocatello with the horses loaded.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
It's only because sister was a Dryden from down, and she was secretarian, and she had
was
my
the
jacket
best.
and stuff stuck under her seat. That's the only reason I got to get on that night. But I did make Pocatello about 3 times, and it was a great rodeo, man. You got to ride against all them guys. I never did win much out there.
Yeah.
I rode alleyways one time, and one guy had me winning the round, and the other one had me not placing.
It's the only airport I ever flew into where they brought the luggage up to you in a pickup truck, backed up and threw it
Really?
onto there from a pickup truck.
I never did fly into Pocatello. It was cheaper to fly to Salt Lake and then drive
Yeah,
up there.
I did that the second year, but the first year I flew right into Pocatello, and it was like, oh.
I
look
was
at
a
this.
glutton for punishment. One of the years that I caught that ride, I got there late.
Yeah.
We were on a guy's ranch. I wish I could remember their name. This older gentleman, he was so cool. He give us 3 horses and had this guy on his ranch take us to a certain place, and we had rifles, and we went to kill these audats. You know,
What are they?
Audats. I don't know how you spell it. It's like a big old sheep goat thing with big long horns.
Like a mountain goat? Mountain sheep?
It's more like it looks like a dang goat more than it does a sheep, but it's got to be a sheep.
On the flatland or in the mountains?
It's
or?
like an exotic that they've turned loose out there in Texas.
Oh, okay.
And it was on this ranch. I mean, we're in Texas. That's a long way from Pocatello. But they were having fun, and we went and shot this all that. And this is when I learned it don't count. It don't take near as long to count to 3 in Montana as it does in Georgia. Don't take half as long.
Say more.
You want me to explain that to you?
Yeah, please
Yeah.
do.
Well, we were sitting there, and my buddy from Montana was here with a gun, and I was here with a gun. And these were nice-ass bolt-action guns that this rancher had let us borrow. Shetland had a dang lever-action 30-30 or something. I'm going to circle them. We were hiding in this gully, and we climb up, and we see him. I said, okay, so have your scope on him.
Yeah.
So we had a plan.
Yeah.
We're ready. And I said, I'm on him. Go ahead and count. And he goes, 1, boom, yeah. His gun goes off and they start running and I shoot at mine and here comes Shetland running across a hill and he's running with it at his hip, just firing, just chasing the sheep. And you wonder why we rodeo? I mean, didn't know it. And he's shooting at these darn all that. And one fell. Obviously, the one
first one
was a hair trigger on the rifle with my buddy from Montana. He shoots him, and so we got this all out, and they start trying to figure out how that sheep looked like it had maybe another wound where Shetland might have hit him too.
Yeah.
But anyway, we left out from Texas. We barely had enough time to get up there anyway, and I hadn't really drove out there a whole lot. I mean, I'm from Georgia, right? And we drove, and it was my time driving. I'd drive usually at night, and I was the new guy driving. We would drive a tank out apiece.
I see. Yeah.
Something like that. So your 6-hour shift. Well, I got through, hadn't filled up. Now, fuel stops, pretty rare out in parts of those country.
Yeah.
So I drove us about out of fuel. Not out, but I mean, they took over. And we were sitting there. I woke up and it was daylight, and the motor was turned off. It wasn't running. And I knew we didn't have time to stop for nothing. And I was in the Bareback ride. Matt from Montana, he was out the next day, so I was out the first perf. And Shetland was in the Broome ride. And so they weren't all that
concerned.
Maybe not quite as much. They were concerned, but I woke up in a panic, and they said, lay down and shut up. We're waiting on this fuel stop to open up. They don't open till 8 in the morning. I said, we ain't going to make it. We are not going to make it. He said, we'll make it. Lay down. They were trying to get some sleep. And they got me there, but I mean barely. They were loaded, and I hadn't paid any fees, which...
Good thing for Sister, huh?
Sister saved my life.
Yeah, she's a good
Can you
woman.
imagine the ragging I'd have took if I drove all the way to Pocatello and didn't get on?
And you turned out your first one, you ain't getting on the second one.
That's right. Welcome home.
Welcome home. So in your push, 2001, all that, before you had to come home, how close were you to the NFL?
You know what? I'm embarrassed to say it, but I cannot tell you.
Mm-hmm. In the hunt?
In the hunt at times, yeah. In the hunt, definitely. But I kept myself, the urge is to call every week and see where you're at. And we talked about wrestling through this whole thing. I didn't want to know, if I was wrestling him, I didn't want to know how many times he had won state championship. I didn't want to know what tournament he won. I didn't want to know who he beat last week. I just wanted to go out there and compete with him. And it was the same thing. I didn't want to keep up with those. I just wanted rodeo as hard as I could, whether I was winning or losing, because it's a marathon. It's not a sprint race.
Yeah.
And so it didn't really matter where I was at in June. Did it? I mean, it didn't matter where I was at in September. I just needed to pour on the coal, and I knew I wasn't in the top 10. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So unless you're in there that deep, you better just keep rodeoing, the way I looked at it.
Yeah. So, a hunting boy coming out of Georgia, you was hunting there, and did you ever go do any elk hunting? Was you ever able to get a rack, antlers, anything like that?
I killed a little one time that was legal, but I had an experience with Chad Hughes and Brian Bowen one time, and
They're your traveling partners.
they were traveling partners, and they were young, and I wasn't so young, but I should have known better. But we hadn't been a lot of places.
Yeah.
There's one of those really nice parks that's maybe a TV show or something been named after.
Teton
Something,
Ridge. No, Glacier Park.
Hacksaw Ridge.
Yellowstone.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, we went out there one time, and there was a scenic overlook. It was like 200-foot drop, this waterfall. And we pulled up, and I said, let's get out and look around and walk. I mean, we've been in this truck. So we were looking off at and the water was rushing down there. And I told Brian Bowen, he was a big bow hunter, like crazy bow hunter. And I said, does that look like elk horns to you? And he looked down there and he said, dang if it don't. And he took off running and run around the rim of this canyon. Stayed gone for 10 minutes. Come running back, even more excited than he left. Phil, that's the biggest elk down there I've ever seen in my life. I said, let's get Chad. We're going to go down here and look at this elk off this straight off cliff. I mean, it was a cliff. It was a canyon. And down at the bottom was this big creek. They probably called it a river, but to us it was. So we bailed off that thing and we got down there. Brian stayed on the safe side of the ranch creek. And Chad and I hit the creek and started wading through there. And halfway across, we found another big old elk. His head was off.
Had died over the winter or something.
He had just died of old age.
Yeah.
They just got off down in that canyon and couldn't get out, I guess. So we got him and chunked him back over there to Brian, and we went back across.
So you got the antlers, so you can
Got
head
the
back.
antlers.
You head back up.
They said,
do you?
okay, let's go. I said, that one we saw is still right over here. There's another one right over here. And so we said, hey, let's go. So we went over there, and sure enough, there was another one that was even bigger than the one we'd thrown out before. And we got over there, and this other one was dried out. Finally, through some ordeal, got that one.
Which gave you two.
Now we got two. So we went to the top. We carried them back up the top of the canyon.
Yeah.
But when we got back out of the creek, the river, it was roaring. You couldn't hear each other talk. It was roaring. The water was. And we look at Brian, and he's over there just panicking, just waving feverishly. He goes and pointed back up to the overlook, and they must have been 200 people looking off this overlook, watching us do this. And they had cameras, binoculars, the whole bit. A helicopter flying over. No, I'm kidding about the helicopter. But they were all up there looking. And I said, let's go up. They've already seen us. We go up. We took those horns back to the top. And I'm not kidding you guys. You could stand up, and these horns were higher than my shoulders, and his head was on the ground. 6 by 6, huge. Couldn't hardly reach around the bases like this. And them jokers stand up there, and we just thought, there's 4 or 5 old boys from Alabama come over there with a 12-pack. Yo, guys, that's the coolest thing we've ever seen. And started handing us some beer and stuff, but the other people weren't so happy. No, sir, we didn't take them with us. No, we didn't. We couldn't even get out of the parking spot. A park ranger parked behind us, and when the guy with the blue light and the gun showed up, it got a whole lot more serious. And I said, I said, we just picking them up just to look at them. We're not. He said, do you realize what those are worth? And this, that, and the other. And this is a park. You can't pick up even a stick out here. I said, we'll take them back if you want us to. He said, heck no, don't touch them. Leave them right where. We offered to take them back. He said, squirrels chew on them, part of the ecology. And it was all true, but we failed to see the reality of it until we were in hot water, bad hot water.
Bad hot water. But they let you go, took your stuff, let you go?
Yeah, I think he understood we were country dumb.
Yeah.
And he said, you boys get in that truck and go that way. Don't stop to buy a souvenir. Don't stop to pee. Don't stop to get something to eat. Drive until you're out of this park. I think Larry Sandvik put that in one of his books or something. He didn't call her name, no.
That's a traveling story.
That's true, and I'm counting on the statute of limitations being out. It's been 24 years.
Yeah, probably
25.
So. Yeah.
No. Yeah, 28.
28. Maybe not
so
till 30.
Some lawyer somewhere going.
Yeah, making notes. So, any other traveling stories? And I was going to come back. When did you jump with Kevin and Adam?
Adam and Kevin had both kind of slowed down after the 2000 period.
Okay.
And I think Kevin was still fighting bulls, but bullfighters pretty much in one place all weekend, so it's hard to travel. So you can just hang around and play. But Adam had slowed down his bull riding, so I'm not sure exactly what year, but prior to that, during that period of time I told you where I was trying to make all the changes and getting better and working on stuff, a lot of that was in the mid to late 90s.
Okay.
95 to
Okay.
To
That's
90.
when you pushed Kevin out and said you need to go be a bullfighter?
Adam did, yes. Kevin, that was way earlier.
Oh, it was?
Kevin quit
Okay.
riding bulls. I can't remember the year, but I think it was like early 90s.
Okay. And you was
Adam
hauling with them a bit then?
Yes, we was traveling then. Adam told him, said, if you ever get on another bull, I'm going to whip your tail.
Yeah, yeah.
You belong to be
Yeah.
a bullfighter.
Yeah.
And Kevin changed and became a bullfighter, and was one of the best bullfighters. I know one of the best in Southeast.
Yeah.
Maybe anywhere, but
Yeah.
he got to work Pocatello several times, I believe. And
Oh, he did. Yes, he did.
Yeah.
He told us he did.
yeah,
Absolutely.
Southeastern Circuit Finals.
Yeah.
Unlimited.
I think he went through 2012, I believe. He fought.
So he kept going a long time
He did.
after I got hurt.
He did.
You know what? When I got hurt, that's another interesting thing. When I got hurt in 2004, I couldn't even go to a rodeo.
Yeah.
I couldn't even go watch with my friends or
We hear that,
enjoy
yeah.
helping these bronc riders. I just didn't want to be around it. I mean, you know what I did? This is another crazy thing. I bought a Harley, and in 5 years, I was the president of a motorcycle club chapter right here in Somerville, Georgia, in Menlo.
Okay.
And I was looking for what we all had, what we had.
Traveling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was looking for that brotherhood feeling of just seeing, just not even talking, just walk up and see these guys.
I see. That rodeo
and,
brotherhood.
and you're just
Okay.
home. You
Yeah.
just, it's your brothers. And that's what they taught.
Yeah.
We're brothers for
Yeah.
life, forever,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. Well, we got it. I'm not so sure if they got it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're still riding?
About 5 years I was in and riding with the club, and then I just kind of,
Drifted
after
off.
had a lot of fun.
A lot of fun today. Arm injuries, anything? I know you said hips been replaced. What else? You're okay?
I'm
Unlock in the morning, you're good to go?
yeah, I'm banged up.
Yeah.
But I'm 62. I mean,
Yeah.
my daddy, he's George Power Lineman. You're going to pay for this when you're older. And I'm thinking, you've had 2 back surgeries, a neck surgery, 2 shoulder,
Yeah.
2 knee replacements. But to him, that was working,
Yeah.
earning money, and he did make good money. And
Yeah.
he taught the lineman school. He went on to he was one of the best linemen Georgia Power ever had.
Yeah.
But, and we're all proud of that.
Yeah.
But to him, this was not the same.
Yeah.
This wasn't
Okay.
that. It was something
Not real
almost
work.
silly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think me and you spoke about this earlier. I think that's some of the difference in growing up here versus Texas or
I see.
somewhere else.
I see. Sure.
When you tell your family, I'm going to go be a professional bareback rider, they're like, ha, 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 good one.
Right. Right.
If you grow up out there and you tell them that, they're like, really? You think you can, how much you need?
Yeah.
What kind of help,
Yeah.
Here, it's like, why don't you play baseball? Them
Yeah.
guys really make money.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's true, but
That's true. Yeah.
it's not the same.
Yeah.
We are not the same.
You're not the same.
Maybe not good enough to make that kind of money in
That's
baseball.
right.
you know?
Yeah, I know I wasn't. Nobody ever, but it's so rare. But if you can if you
Exactly.
got something that you love,
Yeah.
you can't really let everybody else's opinion keep you from doing it, can you?
Sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
it may not be. I've never been accused of chasing the dollar. Every decision I've ever made, including being a forester instead of
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
electrical engineer, which is what I started in.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
like I said, I pretty good grades.
Yeah.
I could have done it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I want to be in the woods.
Yeah.
So that's a conscious decision
Yeah.
that cuts your salary for the rest of your life in half.
But been something you've enjoyed?
But it's something you enjoy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what's not to enjoy? You're
Yeah.
helping people either sell their timber or plant trees that is ecologically a big plus for everybody. Plus, you're helping them.
Yeah. So you're buying timber today. Describe that job just a little bit.
Spend a lot of time on the computer, which is not my favorite part, but everything's on the computer nowadays. So I told my grandfather, he said, you mean to tell me, this is my grandfather now, you mean to tell me you're going to college to be a pulpwooder? I said, well, no, Grandpa, it's not really that. It's kind of like I'm going to school to be the guy that grows the trees and estimates the trees,
Sure.
cruises the timber and puts a price on them and maybe cuts them, sells them, or does whatever. Managing the timber, not
Yeah.
so much just to be a pulpwooder. He goes, You need to go in them computers, son. That's what you need to do. This was in the 80s.
Oh, wow.
My grandfather
Oh, wow.
speaking. The computers were like the size of this building and
Yeah.
had them old
Yeah.
discs.
Punch
that run
cards.
around.
And
Yeah.
yeah.
And I'm like, no way. And now
Yeah.
I'm a forester, just
Yeah.
like I wanted to be.
Yeah.
I've got 2 phones that are computers essentially in my back pocket, right?
Yeah.
I'm on a computer every day. I get up, get a cup of coffee, and go check my email
Yeah.
and start dealing with loggers.
All right. We've heard the life and times of Phil Broome. Is there anything we haven't covered?
The only thing I would say that I hadn't really talked about here was I told you about my brother getting killed.
Yeah.
And so from that time, during that, we call it an 8-year period or whatever period of time that was that I spent still rodeoing, still loving rodeo. Just rodeoing because I love it. During that period of time, I wasn't thinking I was going to ever, maybe never even win the circuit. I just was rodeoing because I loved to rodeo. Wanted to win the associations or wherever I was at. I was always competing to win, don't get me wrong. But the love of having those guys, and I say that after these other boys have walked out because it's a little mushy.
Yeah.
But, this is just between us.
Yeah. Nobody will know.
Nobody will ever get. But I really, just like Jack Sims, for instance, when I gave him that award today, I was thinking about how close it was that he felt like a brother because I'd lost one.
Yeah.
I had a hole in me,
Wow.
a big hole.
Wow.
And 4 years younger, Jack's 5 years younger. So he was a wrestler, my brother was a wrestler. He took up bareback riding and he rode in my truck a bunch. And so when he left to go, I felt like I was sending. And then from him on, there's been multiple guys that got in the truck with me that I literally felt inside and treated them like a brother. I call myself helping them, but they were helping me as much or more than I was helping them.
Yeah.
Just being there. When you think you're been on more horses, so you got some reason to tell them. And I talked to y'all like I didn't know how to ride a bucking horse. I did.
Yeah.
But there was so many technical things that, like in wrestling, that I needed to fine tune. That's why I wasn't a great bareback rider.
Understood.
I think.
Wow.
I'm very humbled that I'm even sitting here because y'all interviewed so many great cowboys and you got access to so many great cowboys. I've been out of it for 20 years and I don't look at myself as somebody that there's people are wanting to hear about as far as what did you do? You say, how close were you to the finals? Couldn't even tell that.
And I only asked that. First off.
It's important though. That's what.
First off, we love the stories. You never win a rodeo, but you're on an adventure. We love the stories. And what you just shared about the Brotherhood is why we do this. Okay? Sam, is that a fair thing to say?
Yeah, and what I took away from what he's learning from these young guys that he's helping.
Yeah.
You look back and think, why didn't I do this? But when you're in it and you're wondering what to do, it would be nice to have had somebody go, hey, bud, what you really need to do is this.
So here's kind of the wrap up. Okay? We've heard you talk about personal learning and rodeo mindset, and you talk about wrestling, and we absolutely love the wrestling mindset and the Brotherhood. And what's been interesting is I sit here and think about what you've just shared with us. I don't know that you've named but 3 or 4 horses that you was on. So we think it's all about the big wins and all of that. Say more.
Not really. The main horses I remember, and the main events that I remember, and the main wrestling matches I remember, is when the guy did the Granby Road and he beat me by 2 points.
Yeah.
I might have stopped the Granby Road, but I didn't win the dadgum match.
Yeah.
So I remember that.
Yeah.
I won a predominant amount of my matches. I'm not bragging. I'm just saying. But I don't remember those.
Yeah.
I remember the ones I should have done better, and it's the same way with the horses.
Yeah. Do it all again. You do it all again.
I do it all again.
All again. Yeah.
I do it probably a lot better and different, but I do it all again. A funny story that popped in my head that it has to do with wrestling. Mark Garrett.
Sure,
Garrett. You know what kind of fine fella he is. You know what kind of athlete he is, too, Sam.
Yeah.
And he's a wrestler. They both are, Mark and Marvin.
I know Marvin a lot better than Mark, but
Well, I just kind of, I can't claim to know him I think I probably know him a lot better than they think they know me. But I really,
Yeah,
every
okay.
time I was around them, I wanted to hear more from them, right? They're just that kind of people. And Mark had won, I think we're at Pueblo Qual. I was there starched up clean. You only have so many clean sets of clothes when you travel, right? You got these that have been wore one day, and these are completely clean, and these have been wore like twice, and then you rode in this pair. Yeah, so I was all starched up at Boudreaux, and it seems like Jared was there, and they were entered that night, and I just wasn't entered that particular night. Well, Mark won the perf. Well, Mark won probably with the rodeo, but I know he was the high score that night. Great ride. And we were all curled up in a little circle like this table, about the size of this table. Mark was right here. And we were talking about the horse and how great he did, and he did. And I don't know why you just get a feeling sometimes that you just want to do something. And he was standing there, so I just kind of slipped behind this arm and hooked around his hip. And at the same time with this hand, reached down and hooked his leg and turned him up like this and then sat him down. And I don't know why I did that. It wasn't even a wrestling move that I liked. But I reached and we was talking about, me and him had talked about how good and I knew they were state champs in South Dakota. And Spearfish, I think.
Yeah, I believe that's right.
But anyway, hooked that leg, did this and did that, and I looked at him.
Set him back down.
He looked at me like, what in the heck?
Yeah.
I said, quick, wasn't it? And that's all I said. I was just playing. I was just goofing. I was goofing.
Yeah.
He come to me like somebody blowed a whistle. We were behind the chutes, bull ropes tied up all the way around the panels, and the out gate was right there. The D-rigging chute and all just full of everything you can imagine a D-rigging chute would be full of. Bad. We tied up. He come to me. He started trying to slam me. He wanted to do one of those Greco throws, I think, is what he was working on. And I was backing off and trying to keep him at bay. And then I finally tried to shoot. And when I tried to shoot, he overhooked my shoulders and neck right here. And he wanted to souffle me behind him. And that little Mark boy, he was pouring it to me. He wanted to throw it. I had those legs just enough where he couldn't throw. We knocked every bull rope. We stomped on bull. We should have had our tails whooped. I should have had my tail whooped.
Yeah.
Because
You started it.
Because I started and I was just playing. And we should have been out in the field somewhere, and it would have been a lot better. But we went over everybody's rigging bag, went through it, wind up in that D-rigging chute, down Wallern in it, and nobody scored a point. I still claim nobody scored a point.
Yeah.
I think he tries to claim he scored a point, but I don't believe he did.
Yeah.
And we wrestled all around everybody's stuff, and I mean, our friends were just kind of like walking off because they didn't know if we were going to like start a fight, or I think they didn't understand that we were just wrestling. And to this day, if I get a chance to talk to Mark, I'll ask him something about a rematch or whatever. But I'm scared of him. I don't want no part of it. But
He's crappy.
he is, man. But we had fun that night. And I don't think anybody's been in a wrestling match behind the chutes before, but we have.
Final question. You get to get in a room with 200 high school seniors. They said, come on in. You get to present. What's your message?
Well, I think the first thing I'd say, whatever you do it heartily as for the Lord and not for men. Do it heartily. Everything you got. This is your opportunity period. You can take it, or you can let it slip by.
Wow. That's Phil Broome. No big headlines, no farewell tour. Just a man who loved to compete, learned some lessons the hard way, and kept showing up. From wrestling mats in Georgia to circuit finals to rebuilding his ride more than once, Phil's story is a reminder that growth isn't loud, it isn't steady, and sometimes the biggest wins aren't buckles. They're the people you share the road with. This is Beyond the Chutes as presented by Parasite System. I'm Doug Simcox. We'll see you down the road. This is Beyond the Chutes as presented by Parasite System, helping vets save time, save money, and save pets. Before we wrap this up, one more thing. Beyond the Chutes is hitting the road in 2026, bringing the stories, the history, and the people of rodeo to the places where it all matters. We'll kick things off February 21st at the Kickback Ranch Cowboy Reunion in Raymer, Alabama, a gathering built on family, tradition, and real cowboy connection. And if Alabama is on your calendar, make Kickback Ranch your home base. Full hookup RV sites, cowboy cabins, cottages, wagon wheel suites, fishing lakes, trails, a swimming pool, and cowboy town. It's a place built for families, events, and bringing people together. Then we'll roll into the 3rd annual King Brothers Rodeo Reunion on May 23rd. Another stop where rodeo stories don't fade, they get passed on. We've got something for all you rodeo road warriors out there. A good friend of ours, Mr. Stan Cromlish, has just a thing to make those long hauls a little smoother.
Hey, rodeo road warriors! Stan Cromlish here from the Wandering Gypsy RV Life Podcast. Ever had a trip go sideways, faster than a bronc out of the chute? Grab my book, Rolling Smooth, How to Enjoy the RV Life Without Losing Your Cool. Packed with real RV stories, hard-won lessons, and a few laughs at my expense. Listen on Audible. Snag a copy at WanderingGypsyRVLife.com and catch the Wandering Gypsy RV Life podcast for more wild tales from the road. Don't just ride, roll smooth.
We're also proud to be supporting our BTC athletes during the new 2026 rodeo season. Raymond Hotstetler, Eli Hirschberger, and Iowa breakaway roper Aubrey Wolf. These are competitors doing it the right way, on the road, in the practice pen, and under the lights. And we'll follow these BTC cowboys and cowgirls on their journey all season long. This episode is also brought to you by Simcox and Company. Cedar Falls, Iowa, 4 generations strong. Deb, Tommy, Eli, and Troy. Great haircuts, looking good, and even better conversation. From the road, from the arena, and from the people who live this life, these stories matter. This is Beyond the Chutes.